These are the virtual delivery agents, which is hosting the application virtualization, the desktop virtualization, and what we are calling here the workloads. VDAs mean the workloads, which is hosting our applications and the desktop. Going to the middle one, which is Citrix has produced to a step to the cloud, which is the virtual apps and desktop as a service. The virtual app and desktop as a service, for this management layer, which is we talked about, it will all be managed by Citrix team. Citrix will be handling the availability, handling the patches, the update, the security fixes, all of the things will be handled by the Citrix cloud team. What about the resource layer? This resource layer is still managed by the customer or the partner. As this layer, it can be either on premises for the customer data center, it can be on any cloud, and the customer can be leveraging all what we need here when you are hosting your server VDAs, which is the workloads that will be hosting the application and desktop. Just put their cloud connector. The cloud connector is the virtual machine, which it should be there to work as a bridge between the Citrix cloud infrastructure, which is the management layer, and the resource layer or the workload layer that we have. What is Citrix Managed Desktop is coming here to present? Citrix Managed Desktop coming here to present that the whole solution will be fully managed by Citrix, leveraging the Azure infrastructure. You can bring your own Azure infrastructure and it will be fully managed by Citrix team. It will be fully Citrix managed. If you need to have some data on your premises and the Active Directory to use the authentication, it can be there, and this is the part that the customer and the partner can bring, and what we will be talking later that we will need to leveraging maybe the VPN side to side or the connectivity that we have from the cloud to the on-premises, just to leveraging the Active Directory and the data if we want to access about it. In both solution for the desktop as a service and the Citrix Managed Desktop, we can leverage in here beside the Azure, leveraging the Windows Virtual Desktop. Windows Virtual Desktop, which is provided by Microsoft Teams, which is supporting the single and monthly sessions on the same Windows 10, the Windows 10 platform. It is the one we can be leveraging for terms of the workload that we talked about. We will be discussing this in our scenarios one by one lately. This is the high-level architecture for the managed Azure Citrix Cloud CMD or Citrix Managed Desktop. As you see here, the management layer is up there, managed by Citrix team, as well the access layer, which is have the workspace experience, and the gateway service, which is the customer will be accessing it, and as well the infrastructure. The infrastructure with the cloud connectors, with the catalogs of VDAs, the virtual delivery agents, and the workload that we talked about, as well the Citrix Managed Agent Active Directory, and the master images, which the customer will be leveraging for provisioning his virtual delivery agents and the images that he has for the virtual applications and the virtual desktops. Let's take it one by one. What kind of deployment model can we leveraging with the Citrix Managed Desktops? The first model, which is we are giving a value net, which is the non-domain joint. Non-domain joint, which is mean that non-domain joint workloads, which is the VDAs that we have, the servers which is hosting the application and the virtual application, the virtual desktops. It's not joined, we not need to be joined to any domain, non-domain joint. This is the first deployment model that Citrix can leverage. The second one is the domain joint, which is the normal setup. But what if we want to join these virtual machines, which is residing on Azure, which is at this case maybe the WVD or Windows Virtual Desktop, we want to join it to our on-premises Active Directory. So this is the second thing. The last thing is the host workloads in your Azure, which is you already have your Azure subscription and you want to leverage it within the Citrix environment. So you can just bring it, just put the cloud connector, the server VDAs over there. You are leveraging the Azure Active Directory the same as is. You would just add the Citrix Managed Desktop will leveraging all your environment. Let's take it step by step, but before taking step, the data can be resolved. The Citrix Managed, the customer agent subscription, and the customer on-premises. For the deployment option one, which is recommended and usually also for the POCs, is the non-domain join VDAs. We need to do a POC testing this feature, but we don't need to join these VDAs or the workloads to any of the Active Directory. We just need to create a couple of users, and this user leveraging the CMD and see the feature of that. At this stage, Citrix will be managing the whole solution by managing this, the Windows virtual machine that you're seeing here, either of the WVD or Windows virtual machine that will be using their Windows servers or Windows desktops. It just will be, users will be created locally, users will be logging to leveraging this option, and this only recommended for the POC, which is not the deployment. The option number two, deployment option number two, what if I need still have the VDAs not joined to any domain, but I need my authenticated user, which is residing on the Azure platform, to use this non-joined VDAs. This is simply that we will be, user authentication will be connecting the Citrix Managed with the Azure subscription Active Directory. We'll do for the user authentication, Azure multi-factor authentication as well will be available for adding the higher level of security, just to let the users to authenticate with their Azure Active Directory and leveraging their Windows virtual desktops or virtual apps. This is how it works for the third option. The third option, what we need to, if we have our on-premises Active Directory and we have some users on the on-premises Active Directory and other users on the cloud Active Directory, which is synced with each other, but we need the user to leverage the on-prem and the Azure. How does it work? Simply, the Windows Active Directory, which is on-premises, will be syncing with the Azure Active Directory. The user will be logging, view his workspace agent. Workspace agent will be authenticating with the Azure Active Directory, accessing him the managed desktop services, which is the CMD, will be connected to the Citrix Managed Azure subscription, which is the cloud connector that we talked about, and he will be easily accessing Windows 10 or Windows servers. And this is the deployment free option that we talked about, is to leveraging the customer to use his Active Directory, which is the on-premises one, through the cloud connector, and he will be using for the user authentication, and we will have two-factor authentication. The native one will be available as well, so the user will be logging, authenticating with his on-premises Active Directory, and leveraging the Citrix Managed Desktops, either the virtual desktop or the virtual apps as well. Going to the domain join, we finalized the non-domain join, that we don't need to join our VDAs, and what is the scenarios for non-joining our VDAs or workloads to the domain. Coming to, maybe we can consider as the production consideration. The production consideration for the domain joins. We need to join our workloads either to the customer Azure subscription or the customer on-premises as well. For the deployment number 4, for the option number 4, that we have our WVD or Windows Virtual Desktop that we have here, and we have the Azure Active Directory that we have here, and the data and files, the Azure subscription for the customer. Just we need to be having here the virtual net peering. Virtual net peering is giving the accessibility between virtual networking between the Citrix Managed infrastructure and the customer Azure subscription, just to let them the connectivity can be integrated as well. We can optionally using the UDR configuration as well. It will leveraging another layer of security of how to both sides will be communicating. By this, when these Windows servers, these Windows virtual machines will be joining the Active Directory, so it will be domain joined, and by this the users will be authenticating with the Azure Active Directory to accessing their virtual apps and desktop. The deployment number 5, what if we need another feature of authenticating with the on-premises? Just a simple thing, the Azure and the Active Directory for the on-premises customer will be extended, will be synced with each other, and we just another layer added here because the customer may need to leveraging the data on the on-premises. How we will be accessing, if these virtual machines need to be accessing some data on the on-premises, we will be need here the VPN side-to-side VPN, just leveraging between the Azure subscription and the customer on-premises. And here we are extremely recommending the SD-WAN. SD-WAN is our own product, the Citrix SD-WAN, which is giving the customer the ability of connecting hybrid connection between the on-premises and the cloud with minimum latency, with added features from the security perspective, and was optimizing the links to avoid any may cause latency alerts. So in this case, the customer will be either authenticating from the Active Directory on-premises or from the Azure Active Directory, and as well his Windows applications or the Windows desktop will be joined to the domain and can be accessing the on-premises data which is each user has. The last deployment option, which is coming from the Citrix Managed to the customer on-premises directly, which is the customer here, what we need as we did side-to-side VPN, the SD-WAN connectivity to provide the quality of service that the virtual machines over there on the Citrix Managed desktops that will be accessing the data on-premises, and the customer users will be authenticated with his on-premises Active Directory. I just, before finalizing, there is the 6 options that we have: the non-domain join, the domain join VDAs, and whenever the customer don't need to authenticate with the Active Directory and to authenticate with the Active Directory. All these deployment options are covering all options that the customer may be leveraging for his day-to-day setup and a day-to-day operation. Before moving forward, do we have any questions or anything raised? Damer or Osama, have you received anything? Maybe I am not able to.
Yes, Shadi, there's one question. Does it support Macintosh?
We are supporting Macintosh as an endpoint layer. When you are using your Macintosh to accessing your Citrix Managed Desktop, Virtual Admin Desktop, definitely you are supporting, because Citrix is supporting a wide range of different options to be accessed. But we are talking here, if we're talking about the source layer, we are talking here about the Citrix Microsoft engagement, which is the Windows Virtual Desktop. So we are targeting here the Windows only from the VDA workload, but from the endpoint, definitely you can leverage all your endpoint to access your data.
All right, any other questions? I think you can move forward, Shadi.
Okay. Again, if you have any question or something, just feel free to raise. We move through the deployment option that we have. Let's see what Citrix Managed Desktop is different, why it's different, and what makes different. As we described, it's the first time that the desktop can be domain joined or non-domain joined. For the non-desktops virtualization, it should be a domain join. But in our case, we are providing here a non-domain join, as we talked about, for the contractors, for the trainee, for just the POCs, for just temporary access, so you can leverage the non-domain join. It's the first
Shadi,
time.
sorry to interrupt you.
Yes.
Actually, there's 2 more questions. The
Yes,
first
please.
one, what is the use case to have non-domain joined VDAs?
Yes, as we talk, the non-domain joined VDAs, we have different use cases. The first one is the POC. We are doing a POC, and we just need to leveraging the concept of the CMD, the Citrix Managed Desktop, without connecting to our Active Directory authentication. That is the first thing. The second thing, if we have a contractors or partners, someone need to access a certain application or a certain desktop from our environment, and we don't need to give him the ability to accessing the environment through the domain join. So it's another use case. So mainly the POC and the other temp solution that we can leverage.
All right, thank you, Shadi. The next question is, will Windows 10 operating system patching and upgrade also be taken care of by the Citrix Managed Desktop?
Yes, definitely. That's what we talked in the beginning, that now Citrix is managing everything, and we are leveraging the collaboration between us and the Microsoft team. And definitely, it will be our goal, our Citrix team, integrating with the Microsoft team as well to do all of things. All of things will be our goal. You just need to access your application. Just this.
All right, that's it, Shadi. Thank you so much. Keep going.
Okay, great. Okay, great. So we talked about leveraging the Windows Virtual Desktop, which is using the multi-session Windows 10, which Microsoft is greatly providing, simplifying the network connectivity to your on-premises resources, as we described, that you can easily access your on-premises data, access your on-premises Active Directory, or even authenticating with that. It is the first time you can buy everything from Citrix. You're just going to Citrix, buy everything in Citrix. You will not talk with anybody else. When you support, you will have the support from Citrix for all the infrastructure, because again, Citrix and Microsoft has a very long partnership and a very long potential in the market. As well, it's the first time Citrix providing the basic Windows desktop image for the customer, that the customer can bring his own image. The customer can do his own image and can upload it to his Citrix Managed Desktop and can be used for this. You can create either your image on the cloud, or you can use your own image, which is created by the customer himself. How I choosing Citrix? We have different options, different platforms which is using the virtual desktop, but here why you are using Citrix. Of course, you heard about the Citrix HDX experience, the high definition experience, which is leveraging the minimal bandwidths, leveraging the encryption for the tunnel, the WAN optimization, and all the other features that we'll talk a little bit about it in the next couple of slides. What is the features with Citrix giving you with the HDX protocol and HDX experience? You have only one solution for all your applications and desktops, and it is one brilliancy. All you will have able to access all your applications and desktops from just single pane of glass, and I will show you how you will do it. Managing and monitoring, which is the simplifying the IT people work. You will have centralized things. You can manage and monitor everything from one page, optimized for Azure integration and the Windows Virtual Desktop and Windows Virtual Desktop, and how we leveraging or using our VDAs, virtual delivery agents, or the workloads with the Windows Virtual Desktop, and how the integration between the Citrix and the Azure infrastructure. This is just a nutshell about the key feature for the Citrix Management Desktop. For the deployment option as we speak, multi-sessions, Windows 10, we can provide it as a static and random. Static means that each and every user will be having his own virtual machine. The random, we will have a pool of virtual machines that each user, when he is logging each and every time, he may be picking up virtual machine different than the other day. So the static is the dedicated one. Random, we can call it as pool. Domain join, non-domain join. We have the Windows 7 extended support as well. There is something that we're leveraging from our partnership, as I mentioned. For the workloads, for the VDAs, Windows 10, Windows 7, Windows Server 2012 and 19 and 16 as well. Multi-VM sizes, you can take your resources as much as you need and as per your requirements. And we have multi-region hosts because we are leveraging the Azure data centers and the Citrix data center. So we'll have a multi-gateways that you can access your infrastructure from the end user experience, as we talk the HDX protocol, the workspace experience that I will show you a screenshot for it. Of course, the Skype for Business. We will talk as well about the Microsoft Teams integrations with Citrix, the secure access, the gateway services, and the 11 Azure POPs around the world that you can accessing from everywhere. Each region have his own POP, so you will be accessing without facing any latency or any other issues that may preventing you from having the good experience. The multi-factor authentication that we talked about. For the management layer, it's a very added value here when you are integrating the Citrix Managed Desktop with your Windows Virtual Desktop app here. Image management, you can have your own pre-configured Citrix prepared image, or you can leverage your own one. For the monitoring, the session management, and the machine list and user dashboard to know how much user is using, knowing your license consumption using, to know your resources consumption in order to adjust your subscription with Azure and Citrix to minimize your day-to-day cost, as well as we talked about the SD-WAN integration and the VNet peering, which is leveraging your added value for the network connectivity to accessing between your on-premises setup and your cloud setup as well. Citrix Workspace, including Citrix Managed Desktop, are authorized based on our partnership with Citrix and Microsoft to benefit from the Windows Virtual Desktop, which is provided by Microsoft. Windows Virtual has a great offering, which is giving you a single user desktop, multi-user desktop, which is the multi-sessions that we talked about, the application publishing, which is the application delivery, and leveraging the Microsoft Azure infrastructure. What is Citrix Managed Desktop is added value here, as we talked about. The non-domain join, it is the added value that can be added here. The user experience for the Microsoft Teams, Skype for Business, client-list protocol, which is we can leveraging the Workspace app or just using the HTML5 page. Universal printer, you can leveraging your on-premises printer or your home printer as well. For the cloud, you can print on your home printer from the cloud. Multiple POPs, as we talked for it. It's now 4 regions. It's now 5 regions actually for Azure. The best protocol in the market, which is the HDX. We talked about the management, the license management, the centralized management, and the application layering. For the security, again, we're referring to the SD-WAN for the on-premises connection between the on-premises and the cloud, integrated with the multi-factor authentication and the Okta and the app protection policies. This is the value add to sum it up between Citrix Managed Desktop and the Windows Virtual Desktop. HDX protocol, to manage either workloads, it will be fully managed by the Citrix team. Auto scale for the power management, you can now control your VMs and the power of your VMs to minimize the cost of, because you are just paying for what you are using. So whenever you don't use the VM anymore, it can be powered off and you will not pay for it. The domain, non-domain, Microsoft Teams optimization, the multi-factor authentication and two-factor authentication, the monitoring, optimized image as we talked about, the machine creation services, which is the services that we are providing from Citrix to automatically create VMs. When you have your own Azure subscription, you will go to create your own VMs. You create the VMs for number of customers that you have. But from Citrix, when you added the CMD over the Windows Virtual Desktop, you will just create one image. This image will be deployed automatically, leveraging our machine creation services, which is provided by Citrix, to create multiple, maybe 100 or 1,000 copies of this image to be leveraging for the customer. So you don't need to do anything by yourself. It will be not automatically. The support, as we mentioned, it will be a single point of support. Citrix SD-WAN, the 3D graphics accelerator, as we are supporting extremely the companies which is using the very heavy loaded applications such as the AutoCAD, the 3D Max, this kind of applications which is requiring the GPU. As we talked about the global POPs that you have wherever you are, there is a POP near you that you can connect over it, the Skype optimization and the Windows Server support as well. This is the value own Azure subscription. If you don't have, you will be leveraging the integration between Citrix and Microsoft. You can create how many machines you want, where you want to choose to put your machines, on which region, and what is the name. When you create it, just create it, simple like this. It will show you, you can add your users that you want to add. Who users will be accessing this catalog, will be accessing this machines. Simply, this is the details. We have 3 virtual machines. 2 of them are powered on. 1 is powered off. It would give you the master image. I'm using this master image, which is Windows 10, which is the pre-configured one. And this is the VDA version, the Citrix VDA version. The last updated for this is May 21st, 2019. It's a multi-session, which is mean that we are leveraging here the application virtualization that we talked about. So it's showing you the desktops and the apps. Here we have the Windows 10 virtual desktop. This is the apps which is delivered to these users: Adobe, Google, Excel, Outlook, PowerPoint, and Word. And these are the subscribers. These are the users that they have the ability to use these virtual desktops and virtual application. From the user perspective, as we talked about the workspace experience. Workspace experience in Citrix Cloud is giving you just a single pane of glass. Just one page, you will do a single sign-on, enter your username and password just one time. Again, we're integrating with the multi-factor authentication, and if you have second factor authentication, usually or your own one, we are integrated with it to have just a single sign-on, and you, from the same page as a user experience, you will be accessing all your published applications, as well your own desktop, virtual desktop. This will minimize the login time for each user because he will not need anymore to go from application to another application to do a single the authentication for each application separately. Just do it one time, and you will be able to access all your published applications and your virtual desktop as well from the same page. For the pricing and packaging, for the Citrix Managed Desktop, this is the pricing option that we are providing. The monthly or term options. Terms means annually options, so you can pay even, or you can subscribe monthly on monthly basis or on yearly basis. It includes by default the Azure capacity, and as well as you remember, you can bring your own Azure as well. If you are already doing an investment with Azure, we can integrate it with Citrix direct away. We don't need to buy another shot for it. Flexible desktop sizes, you can go as you need for your resourcing. It's your pool of resourcing that you can leverage and you can use. For the packaging, when you are having the Citrix Managed Desktop packaging, you will need there the Citrix Managed Desktop annual term, paid monthly or yearly, as we talked about. You will have by this the cloud-based management, which is we showed at the portal, the Citrix Gateway, which is giving you the accessibility and POPs from accessing anywhere from the regions that you have, the workspace application, which is I showed you, giving you the application and the desktop from the single pane of glass, and the user dashboard of the Citrix HDX to giving you a statistics about the user usage and the user accessing application and desktop, as well as for the Microsoft licensing. Again, you can bring your own license, which is you already have. If you don't have licenses for the SAL, for the CALs, for the servers, for accessing the virtual apps on the Windows servers, you just do it easily, allow you bring your own option as we talked. It's an optional purchase for the customer. It is not a mandatory there. If you need to leverage the Windows Server option, then you will need the SAL. If you will not leveraging it, so you will have your own WVD, Windows Virtual Desktop, with enabled by default multi-session, and you don't need to pay extra cost for the SAL licensing, which is the RDS options for accessing the server things. The last thing is the consumption and commitment. Windows Virtual Desktop workload management, just pay on usage. You not pay for granted. You use a virtual machine for amount of time, you pay for it only. You will not pay when it's down. So it's a prepaid fund on average, full of funds of compute, storage, and data transfer that you will be leveraging for your infrastructure that you have. This is simply what we move. I tried to cut it short to make it easy for you. We just need to have an open conversation. Whenever you have any question, you want to ask about anything, feel free to have it. But make sure that your next step for the Citrix Managed Desktop, please leverage our page for the Managed Desktop for deep dive details. And just, of course, feel free to revert back to me on our team for answering any question. Take now a step to our sales representative. If you want to ask anything customized, anything related to a customer case that you are leveraging as well, you have the authority to sign up for a demo. Try it to be our advocate for speaking with the customer. And definitely don't forget to ask about incredible customer offers, leveraging our Citrix and Microsoft partnership. As Citrix Managed Desktop, it works for all our business, regarding the budget that you have or the team, how much team is big that you have. Thank you, of course, for listening. I hope I will not took much time from you. Feel free if you have any questions, and Tamer, of course, feel free if you have anything to be covered.
Sure thing. Thank you so much, Shadi. From the question perspective, there's a last question here. Is there any cost advantages of using MCS over Microsoft RDS for managing less number of VDA?
Okay. The MCS here, what we are talking about, MCS is a machine creation services. If I'm getting it right, the machine creation services here is already an enabled by default feature. You don't need to buy for it. It's something already there, which is giving you the opportunity, instead of the headache of the team to create multiple VMs, you will just create one image, and the MCS will be handling creating the VMs. From the Microsoft RDS, the edge here, as we talked about, the leveraging between Citrix Managed Desktop and Windows Virtual Desktop. Windows Virtual Desktop is a Windows 10 based, which is enable you to have a multi-session. Multi-sessions, which means that you don't need to have the RDS licensing, which is we talked about. So if you are leveraging the Windows Virtual Desktop, putting your application on the Windows 10, so you don't need anymore to buy RDS license kits. But if you need, because some application need as Windows Server based to be installed on it, in that case, you would just need to be only buy the RDS CALs or the SAL CALs for these servers.
Okay, one more question. What is the main advantage from Amazon Workspace? What is Citrix main advantage from Amazon Workspace?
It's a very, very, very good question regarding the Amazon Workspaces when you're comparing to it. For the Amazon Workspaces or any other cloud provider, such as Google as well, is provide you with infrastructure as a service, giving you infrastructure, and you create your virtual machines over there. So instead of having this infrastructure on your premise, you will have it on the cloud, and it's something a value added by the way. But we are comparing it to Citrix. It's a total different story, because Citrix, from first perspective, it will be managing the whole infrastructure. The second thing, your users will be accessing their application and desktop only. They will not remote on these virtual machines as a RDP or the RDS. It will be just accessing your Citrix infrastructure through the Workspace app to these Citrix, leveraging all the options that we talked about, the Citrix Workspace, the HDX added value, and the session recording, watermarking, and the whole app layering, and the other values that we talked about.
Okay. Now, the next question, actually, it's the second question from the previous question about the cost advantage of using MCS over Microsoft RDS. So the question is, so do we need to just patch or upgrade one single Windows image?
Okay. From this perspective, you have two options to do with your own image. The image here means the image which is contain your policies, contains your applications. From the perspective of patching or updates or security fixes, it is something will be managed on the image perspective. When it's done on the image perspective, it will be propagated automatically, leveraging the MCS technology to all the virtual machine which is deployed from this image. So it's something will be happening on the background. The user, he has a virtual machine. Maybe that virtual machine by end of day will be giving the patches on it. So we'll be accessing another VM at the same time. So the user will be affected, will not be affected about the patching cycle and the update cycle.
Okay. The last question: Advanced printing management services, are they allowed? Else, can we use third parties like Screwdriver?
Okay. For the advanced, I don't understand what is you mean actually about advanced printed management service, but let me tell you what is Citrix providing from the printing perspective. We can leverage both options for printing. You can leverage the universal printer, which is you have a network printer in your premises, and you want all the documents to be printed through this network printer through the universal printing service. We are providing this universal printing service, and it's part of our solution. As well, we have a predefined drivers for the printers, which is you maybe have your local printer at home at your office. So once you're connecting this printer, if it's a known driver, which is we are covering most of drivers of their printers, it will be encapsulated automatically in the Citrix session, and you can use it easily. Regarding integrated with the third party like